Hello, I'm so happy to see you guys this week. We are going to be working on finger patterns this week. We are going to be doing 4 different finger patterns. I'm going to show them to you on both the violin and the cello. And then we're going to work with a new book called Finger Patterns something something something. It's linked in your Schoology. And it outlines finger patterns as we use them within your scales on all 4 strings. So we're going to start by identifying the 4 different finger patterns that we are using. For violins and violas, you've got a 1-2 finger pattern, a 2-3 finger pattern, a 3-4 finger pattern, and then an open or a whole step finger pattern. So on your instrument, okay, if we pretend that this is where your fingers normally go for a first finger, a 1-2 finger pattern has a half step between 1 and 2, and then whole steps between 2 and 3, and 3 and 4. Okay, so this would be, for example, an E, F natural, G, A. A 2-3 finger pattern was the first one you learned. 2-3 has a half step between 2 and 3, right there. Whole step from 1 to 2, half step from 2 to 3, whole step from 3 to 4. Okay? A 3-4 finger pattern, so notice my first finger still hasn't moved yet. Now we've got a whole step from 1 to 2, a whole step from 2 to 3, and the half step is between 3 and 4. Okay? And then the last one is a whole step or an open finger pattern. This one is where that first finger is going to pull back a half step. So if we were playing an E flat on the D string, perhaps, then a whole step to 2, a whole step to 3, a whole step to 4. And my thumb stayed in the same place the whole time. I tried to keep it in the same place. So your thumb is not going to shift back here when you do that first finger. Okay? Okay, for my cellists. Now, cello is going to use the same idea, but we're going to use extensions rather than patterns. So because you do have a second and third finger available to you for F natural and F sharp, we don't have to use finger patterns like the violins and violas do per se. So while they're using a 1-2 finger pattern where the half step is between 1 and 2, you will use first finger, second finger, fourth finger. Okay, so we're just skipping over, perhaps it's an F sharp. We're not using that one, okay? So we've got, let me get my good position here. All right, so we've got your first finger, second finger, fourth finger, and that's equivalent to the violins and violas 1-2 pattern, okay? Equivalent to the violins and violas 2-3 pattern, you are going to use that third finger to play whatever note on whatever string. So you'd use first finger, third finger, fourth finger, and then the half step is between the 3 and the 4. Okay? Then we've got 2 finger patterns for you guys with extensions. So equivalent to the violin and viola 3-4 finger pattern is a forward extension for you, where you've got a whole step from first finger to second finger. So we are extending that second finger forward. Remember, you can extend, opening up from the first joint here, or you can pivot forward. If you've got small hands and you need to do a little bit of a pivot, that's fine too. So we've got whole step from 1 to 2, whole step from 2 to 4. So notice that I'm going beyond that fourth finger marking here. So whole step from 2 to 4, and then 4 to your next open string is actually a half step. Okay, so again, that's a forward extension, 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to your open string. Then you have your backward extension, which is equivalent to the violins and violas whole step pattern, and that's where first finger extends backwards this way or pivots backwards this way. Okay, so you've got an extension or a pivot, same idea. Okay, so now we've got the half step from open to 1 here, a whole step again from 1 to 2, whole step from 2 to 4, which is not extending beyond fourth finger place here, okay, and then a whole step from 4 to your next open string. So that's your whole step finger pattern when you extend backwards, okay? Any questions you guys have about the finger patterns, please email me. I'm happy to jump on Zoom with you and answer any questions that you might have. These are the 4 finger patterns that we are going to use this week for all of our exercises and going forward with our scales. All right? Okay, so now just so we can kind of hear what these finger patterns sound like, I'm going to play up and down a tetrachord so that you can hear the difference in all the little patterns. Okay, so this is our major pattern, this is our minor pattern, the 1-2 pattern. all the way up to A this time. So again, that's the 1-2 pattern. Half step between 1 and 2. For cellos, it's using first and second finger. All right, the major pattern. Okay, so again, that's the 2-3 or the major pattern for cellos. All right, 3-4 pattern or the forward extension for cellos. All the way up to A. Okay, that was the 3-4. Now the last one is the whole step pattern or the backward extension for cellos. And that's the whole step pattern or backward extension for cellos. All right, let me know if you guys have any questions.